Um, okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. We are actually live. It seems like yes. Finally, we are live. Sorry for that. We were having some technical issues, and seems like it has been solved. Okay. So yeah, let us introduce ourselves. I am Rahul Biswas from the School of Electronics and Telecommunications Engineering. I'm doing my BTech in ETC, and I'm currently in fourth semester. And with me, I have Arghyadeep Mukherjee, who is also from second year and who is doing his BTech in computer science and engineering. So today, our topic will be the Log4j vulnerability, and this is arguably the worst software bug of the century. So why is it being called the worst software bug of the century by the experts? We all will come to know about it after the entire stream has been completed. All right. So let us begin. And we are happy to announce that we are having SkillVertex as our partner with us today for this event. So, who is SkillVertex or what is SkillVertex? SkillVertex is an e-learning platform which helps us to train students concerning the emerging market requisites and make them industry ready. It the platform basically gives you skills and trains you in in the required skills that is required in the that is currently required in the industry. All right. So, what are they providing us today, or rather, what are they providing you guys today? As you can see on the screen, I hope that my presentation, yes, my presentation is visible. Yeah, SkillVertex will be providing a 100% discount coupon on one course of their choice to three different participants of the event, and the validity of the course will be for a lifetime. And the cost of the courses, total cost of the courses are 12,000 rupees. And how will we decide the top three students? Well, the session will be really interactive today's session. All right. So the top three people who will interact the most will be selected as the winners, and we will be declaring the winners tomorrow. Yeah, by tomorrow night on our social handles. So make sure that you follow our social handles, and we will soon be providing you with all of our social links so that you can follow us. And this is already I've told you in the previous slide itself that the more you will interact with us today, the more chances of you winning some prize. All right. Now I will hand over the next two parts to Arghyadeep, and so that he can explain you a little bit about cybersecurity.
Okay, so what is basically cybersecurity? Now, cybersecurity is a practice of protecting critical systems. Like you must have heard about the phishing attacks and other different kind of attacks you see in real world where data of people get stolen, and we get a loss of around many dollars, many million of money. So, what cybersecurity is the field where we try to mitigate that by securing the system and creating a better world for better virtual world where we can learn and practice new things. So basically, what is the need of cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is important because it protects all categories of data from theft and damage. This includes sensitive data, even sensitive images, health information, and governmental and industry formation systems. Without cybersecurity programs, your organization cannot defend itself against a data breach campaign. There are malicious hackers who may use some wrong ways to manipulate those data to harm you. That's why we need cybersecurity. Now, my colleague Rahul will tell you about Log4j and about um, hand over to Rahul.
All right. So let me share the light on what is Log4j. Okay, Log4j is basically a Java-based logging utility which is written by Seki Guluki. It is a part of the Apache logging services. So, what? Let me come to the first point. What is logging? What is logging of data? As all of you might know, all of you must have some basic idea about logging, right? Like we have logbooks, we have seen logbooks and all, and like say let's say you have to sign somewhere, like say let's say in our hostels itself we have fingerprint biometrics attendance, right? Like when we are entering the hostel, when we are leaving the hostel, everything is noted down. So everything is logged, so the proper word is logged. Okay, so from the logs, anyone can see when a particular student has entered or exited the hostel complex. So that is logging basically. And the your software utility used for logging Java-based application is nothing but Log4j. It is an extremely popular open sourced software, and a lot of a lot of projects are using that just due to its extremely versatile and open source nature. And it is created by the Apache Software Foundation. And Apache Software Foundation also creates the really popular Apache web server. So the main part of today's event, let me come to that. Okay, what is the Log4j vulnerability? Just like every software, this software also has a few vulnerabilities. One of which was caught, or rather made public, on December 9th, 2021. But unfortunately, it was seen that uh, around the attacks using this vulnerability started around a week or two before the public disclosure. The vulnerability was assigned the CVE number CVE 2021 44228. All right. So, what is this vulnerability all about? The vulnerability attacks and allows an attacker who can control log messages to execute arbitrary code loaded from attacker control servers. So we will be giving you some examples of the special type of commands or codes that that helps the attacker to like execute the attack. All right. So why is it dangerous? It is dangerous because anyone, literally anyone, even someone who has zero knowledge of cybersecurity can execute this attack. Even a simple, even if you type a special string in the URL bar of the browser, can help us to execute that attack. Okay, so why is the whole cybersecurity industry concerned about its vulnerability? As I told all of you guys before, at the Log4j being open sourced and extremely easy to use, it is being used in a lot of packages, a lot of other softwares, especially open source softwares. All right, so that's and it has been found that over 25% of all of the open source packages are vulnerable due mainly because the package maintainers haven't been updating it, or they are slow regarding updates to the components used in the packages. Okay, so that is there. So that is why the vulnerability is so widespread. And the weirdest part is that this exact vulnerability was demonstrated back in 2016 or 2017 in a popular event for hackers, which is known as DEF CON. Even then, even after the disclosure at that time, Apache didn't fix it. So that might have increased the chances of getting attacked. And where is next slide? Yeah, next slide. Yeah. So let us explore the vulnerability in depth. The Log4j version 2.0 onwards added lookups, including JNDI lookups. These JNDI lookups were not restricted, which basically means people could use any arbitrary string, and they could just basically post that arbitrary string to the server, which would have triggered this vulnerability. And what is the JNDI? JNDI is a Java API for directory service that allows you to interface with the LDAP or DNS to look up data and resources. And unfortunately, the just I explained to you a few moments ago that even the URL bar can act as a weapon for execution of this special type of vulnerability. And so my partner will shed some more light about what is JNDI and what is LDAP.
So basically, what LDAP is, LDAP is basically a protocol which helps us to connect with AD, which is Active Directory. You can understand it in a better way if I say it in a more layman language. So it is basically like we have a database somewhere, and for if we want to get something from there, we use LDAP as a way or a path to get the information or to authenticate our passwords or username. We use LDAP. Now, what JNDI is basically, JNDI is a plugin which helps to log data. So, this is what JNDI and LDP is in a very layman language. Basically, these are some examples of logging message you can use. It can be either it is in any attack vector. Mostly, you can, as my friend said, we can use it in URIs, where we can use this to access the LDAP servers, which can be very dangerous.
All right, now let us move to the process of the attack, how the attack works. After the initial insertion of the JNDI string, a URI is followed to access the secondary payload, which causes command execution. So the first question that one might think is that how the payload is sent to the victim's computer. There are multiple ways of sending the payload to the computer, and that is we can use phishing or fake emails, or you know all of you must have got some emails like win this and that just by answering the survey. Those emails are fake and you should never click on them. Anyways, so that with the help sending the payload is easy, and after that we just showed you right in the previous slide. These are all of the ways by which the attacker can trigger the payload, and it is really easy. Like one doesn't even need direct access to the server. The URL bar is enough. Let me just go aside. And this is just a simple pictorial demonstration of how the attack works. This is the first phase, and the after inserting the payload, the attacker just executes the payload by invoking the all of the strings that was shown earlier, and after that Java does the other part. All right. So this is there, and that's why it is extremely dangerous, because again, anyone with the access to the URL bar can do it. Even but the good thing is that many companies have taken up some steps to protect against the vulnerabilities, which will be discussed later. Yeah, this is just what I was saying a few minutes ago. The attacker would construct an initial JNDI insertion token and put it into the HTTP header user agent. Okay, so what is the HTTP header user agent? Um, or sorry, I didn't keep any. All right, yeah, right. So whenever you visit a website, your browser has a unique identifier. Like you must have seen Mozilla Firefox slash 6.0, Apple WebKit, and all of these things, right? So those are the user agent HTTP header. The user agent HTTP header tells the server that what type of device it is, and what is the browser make, and what is the browser version. So anyone, literally anyone, and there are a lot of plugins in the Chrome Web Store which can help you to set up custom HTTP agent. And if anyone sets up a custom HTTP agent using the format that is mentioned in the second point, that's dollar sign JNDI colon LDAP and host port part and that part, that the exploit will be executed. All right, the server will be exploited. Actually, sorry, it is a really easy thing to do. So you don't even need some special skills to access the servers. And now we will be showing some demos related to this. I would like Arghyadeep to show the first demo, which is the web server running Log4j version 2.15.0, which is again a vulnerable version.
Okay, so
Just
is
a
it
second.
sharing?
Yes, it's sharing. All right.
Okay. Okay, so basically, we will be trying to exploit this website web server where 8983 port is open, which basically runs Apache Solr, which has the vulnerable Log4j library. So for that, first we have to check what is the IP address of our attacking machine. I will be using my computer as the attacking machine, whereas the host machine or the target machine will be this web server. Here our goal will be to access the web server, and there we can access all the files present in it. So now basically if you Okay, so basically the IP address of my attacking machine right now is, as you can see, 10.17.34.101. This will be the attacking IP throughout this exploit. So now what we are going to do is we are going to send a curl request to this web server I just showed you earlier, and we will try to check whether this is vulnerable or not. So now this is basically an netcat listener. What it does is it will be listening on our port 9999, where if it gets a connection from the website there, it will just show that the connection is done, and the website is probably vulnerable. So now
I believe he's having some issues. I'm sorry, he's having some network issues. He will be back really, really soon. Um, right. So he's having some network issues. So he will be doing it after some time. First, let me show my demo, and let me right. Share this. I have actually recorded this a few days ago. Just, all right. Let me just tell you what is going on here. Why I have recorded is that our laptop, like all of you must be knowing, it just simply cannot handle so many things at once. I am basically using three virtual machines in this. One is running these two machines, and these two machines are on a different set of hypervisors. So, anyways, uh, those details are irrelevant over here. So as you can see, on the left side is my attacking machine, and the right side is the machine that I'm going to attack. And this is an older version of uh, Minecraft, which is vulnerable to the Log4j attack. All right. So let me just show you in this video what I've recorded. Yeah. All right. I think this is small for you guys. Let me just share only the video. Yeah. Now it should be better. Yeah. The other video is playing, I believe. Yes. Yeah, just here you can see, not here. Wait, it should be not here. Leave. Mm. Yeah, just here. All of you can see. I believe that I have passed a string in the chat, and that is in the chat of Minecraft actually. And that is the $JNDI colon LDAP for backslash 144. This is the IP of the machine, and after the IP we have the port, and after that we have the name of the payload. All right. So after executing that, you can see on the machine which I'm using with the help of to target the vulnerable instance of Minecraft. We can see a lot of things happening over here. So basically, this indicates that I have successfully connected to the Windows machine running Minecraft, and the Log4j, the vulnerable Log4j instance running on the older version of Minecraft has now granted me entire access to the Windows machine, and I will be opening an application from my the attacking computer to the victim's computer with right now using this exploit. As you can see, I have opened calculator. Minecraft is running. The user isn't even aware about this. Okay, uh, just imagine yourself in the players, the Minecraft players position, in place of the Minecraft player. Okay, you are playing. Someone has sent you a random string of characters, which is right here, JNDI colon LDAP back forward slash and all those stuff. You will simply ignore it, thinking that, yeah, Many people do that. Many people write random things. But in this case, you have been hacked, unfortunately. Yes, now the exploit is done, and this is the entire thing. You know, this is actually I'm logging the thing that whatever is happening. This is not important. The most important part was this over here. This part, as you can see, right, the string that was passed in the chat. So this is how Minecraft could have been used. The older version of Minecraft client, Java client, could have been used to hack into someone else's system. All right. So let me just check with Arghyadeep. I believe he's having some trouble.
Um, I think it is working now. I was having some issues with my laptop.
All right. That's good. That is
Okay.
good. Okay. Let me just remove this. You can now share in screen.
Huh. Is it visible?
Uh, just a second. Yes, it is.
Sorry for the inconvenience. So basically, what we were going to do is we were having this web server where we will try to exploit the vulnerability and try to get the access to all the files in the server. So basically what we are going to do is at first we have to check what is our attacking machine ID. So we can check that by the command IP address show, and as we can see the attacking ID I have and which will be present throughout this exploit is 10.1.717.34.101. Okay, so now to check whether the web server is actually vulnerable or not, we will send a curl command where we will check whether we can get any response or not. So first we will establish a letcat listener. What it is going to do is it will check, it will listen to the 999 port, sorry, 9999 port, and it will see whether it can get a response or not. So now, as you can see, you just see after passing this command, I can see that I have received the connection from the vulnerable web server, which means that this web server is actually vulnerable and it can be exploited. Now, Now to actually exploit it, what we just did was basically check whether it was vulnerable or not. But to actually exploit it, we are going to use a LDAP server, which I am creating using MarshallSec. It is an open source library, open source software. You can get it by GitHub. So now I will set up the LDAP server. This is that second server which will carry the payload which will help us to exploit basically. Now, as our secondary server is ready, we are going to we are now going we are now going to basically exploit the web server by another curl command, and also using an Java function which will basically try to give us access. The Java function, Java the Java program I am going to use is as follows. It is as follows. It what it will do is it will basically redirect to the attacking machine IP address on 999 port where our netcat listener is already running, so that we can have the access right through. Now Now let us start an Let us start a basic HTTP server using Python. Now we will also restart the netcat listener as we have already ended it previously. Now we will send the curl command as usual, but what the difference between the previous curl command here and this one is we are actually having a payload with the exploit class which I showed earlier. This will actually help us to get the access this time. Now, as you can see, now wait a minute. Connection received on 10 point, we can see that the connection is actually received. Now what we will do is, as now we can actually access the command line. We cannot use it completely, but some of the functions we can use for now, which are like very simple commands like who am I and ls and all. If you do who am I, you can see that we can see the user of the web server we have just exploited. The next thing we can check is all the files we are having in this web server. But actually we can do more by getting access to it with the help of SSH command. So what we are going to do is, we will actually first of all we will upgrade our shell and change the password so that we can stay in this machine for a long, which is also called persistence. Sudo bash, and for the convenience of this exploit, this server doesn't have any password, so it is a bit more easier for me. But in real life situation, actually you have to crack the already existing password, which is not that much difficult. We can do it, but due to lack of time, we are actually going to do it without the password. We will first enter a very simple password, which will matlab, this is the password we are going to use when we are logging with the SSH command. Now the password is updated successfully. Now we can very well access the access the web server with the help of SSH command. Now, as you can see, we have gained access to the web server, and now I have the access to the Solar user, and I can do whatever I want. For example, this directory doesn't have any files for now, but I can do literally anything because I have now the access to it. This is how we can this is how we can basically exploit this vulnerability to get into a web server. Okay, now over to Rahul.
Yeah. So just now we showed two real life examples about how to exploit a vulnerable instance of Log4j. So one question arises: are these methods still relevant? Yes, the methods are still relevant, but can we exploit the same applications using this method? Unfortunately, or rather, fortunately, no. Uh, Anything running Log4j version 2.17.1 or higher is no longer vulnerable to this particular type of attack. So, what is the current impact of the vulnerability? It is estimated that as of 19th December 2021, there are over 17,000 packages affected because of this vulnerability. And this is only for the Log4j core. The core means the base software, the base Log4j packages. And as it is an open source software, so you can modify it according to your liking. So this is only for the core version of the software. If we account for all of the other different modified versions of the software, then it's gonna be a huge number. It won't be 17,000, it's gonna be over 50,000 or something like that. Even at 17,000, it affects over 4% of the ecosystem, which is a lot. And more than 35,000 Java packages, amounting to over 8% of the Maven central repository, which is actually the most significant Java package repository, is vulnerable. After the vulnerability was disclosed publicly, of almost every major company was vulnerable for a short period of time. There was one time around 19th or 20th December, not around 19th or 20th December, I mean around when the vulnerability was actually disclosed, which was, sorry, which is around 9th December, not 19th December, sorry for the confusion. That you could literally send the text, the specially crafted characters, and literally send any iPhone that particular message, the particular string of characters, and you could have easily gained access to that iPhone or that particular iPad. And you could even do the same thing with Apple servers, which was a really bad thing. Microsoft servers were affected due to this. GitHub was affected. Cloudflare was affected. Fastly was affected, and there are a lot of services which were affected. But fortunately, most of them acted really quickly to patch up their vulnerabilities. And right now, Apple, Microsoft servers, and most of the large company servers are no longer affected due to this vulnerability. And I would like Arghyadeep to speak a few points on the fix about the vulnerability.
uh, Basically what they have what the perfect there is no perfect way to fix this vulnerability. What they have done is basically remove the JNDI plugin which was responsible for the payload which we use to actually exploit this vulnerability. Some are also trying so that we can keep the JNDI and we can still mitigate the vulnerability, and this is going to take a lot of time. It is said that this same vulnerability is going to stay for a few more decades, where we will probably face this because there are many websites, many apps which are smaller in scale than other bigger apps and websites like Minecraft and Google, etc. So, for the fix for this vulnerability, there is this way by disabling dlog4j2 format message no lookups. What this does is basically removes all the lookups and JNDI plugins, which was previously in log4j library. And there are removing the JNDI lookup class from class path is also one of the ways to fix this vulnerability. And it is also recommended to upgrade to at least 2.17 of log4j or later. So, because in those versions of log4j, it is already patched. Over to Rahul.
Yes. Now let us look at some of the memes which is made due to this Log4j vulnerability. Because after all, who controls the memes controls the universe. All of you must have seen this particular screen while installing Java. That Java runs on 3 billion devices. Now just imagine that uh, what would happen if all of these devices are not patched. There is a potential of these 3 billion devices becoming a target of the attackers. This meme is simply says that companies spend millions of dollars on security architecture, but a single string of characters is enough to evade even their most expensive security measures. And one more issue that arises due to the Log4j vulnerability is that the issues of ransomware. After the Log4j vulnerability was made public, two or three new ransomware crept up, which used this particular vulnerability in order to infect and spread the company's own ransomwares, those bad actors. And these are this meme says that uh, uh, why Log4j cannot be secure. The above picture is of all of the security professionals who are working in different types of companies, and the below are all of the vulnerabilities up to version 2.17, which was found in Log4j. So yeah, that's all for the memes. And now, if you have any question, now this form is not required because we are running short on time. If you have any questions, just write it in the chat box. And yes, after this, we have a major quiz, which which is gonna be really interesting. So again, if you guys have any questions, we will be waiting here for 2 to 3 minutes, 2 minutes, Sarah. And please write it in the chat box. Yeah, just put your questions in the chat box. So we are waiting, and we have a question. It's just a second. Let me just where is it? Banners. Let me just highlight one of the questions. Wait, just a second. Let's save. It's a good question. Is current Android version also vulnerable to Log4j? The thing is that the Android OS by itself is not vulnerable, but if any app that uses Log4j for its backend, like Minecraft, the older versions of Minecraft used it, the newer versions that fixed the vulnerability patched, so there is no issue anymore. So any software that uses Log4j at the backend will make your phone vulnerable to it until and unless the developers fix the vulnerability at the backend. And Log4j cannot run on Android. That is a good thing because the architecture is different. And we have one more question. Let me just highlight it. You guys are using Solaris. Yes, so one of the demos were made using Solaris, or rather shown using Solaris and Apache. Not Solaris, actually, it is Solar. All right. Anyways, but the latest version of Apache Solar is not vulnerable to the Log4j vulnerability. So that is a good thing. So now we have got all of the questions, and now let us move on to the quiz. Let me just show you. Just wait for a few minute or two. I will be sending the link on the screen. I will be sharing the link on the screen, so you guys can just go to this link to join the quiz. There will be 10 questions, and there will be 10 seconds for every question. All right. Start. Um, Classic. I'm just posting that right now. 48453. 483. 483. Save. Um, I believe this is visible, right? Go to Kahoot.it and then enter the pin as 9148453 and make sure that you use your real name. Otherwise, it the winners cannot be determined. All right. We will be holding off here for 5 minutes in order for you guys to just join the Kahoot session. Just follow the instruction that is bottom of the screen. Go to Kahoot.it and enter the pin as 9148453 and just join the game. We'll be holding it for 5 minutes for you guys to join it. guys, you have time till 6 or 3 for joining the game. All right, so do hurry up because after that, no more players will be allowed due to the competition, the prize determining factor. All right. Again, it is recommended, rather, it is required for you guys to like use your real name so that we can determine the winners. All right, so now we have given enough time. You guys can still join it, in between the quiz, but it is better that you have joined earlier. So there are a lot of players in the quiz right now. So I am starting the quiz. You guys will be getting 10 seconds to answer a question. There is a total of 10 questions. Okay. And some of them are MCQ types, some of them are true or false type. The questions are really basic, and all of them are, or rather most of them are based on this session, and some of them are really basic, like everyone should know. So we are starting the quiz right now. না পরে একটু পরে তো। All right, so with that, we end our quiz, and we will be declaring the winners tomorrow on our social handles. So let me just remove this just a second. Yeah, right. And yeah, so this is the end of the session. I really hope that you, all of you guys, whoever have joined us, you guys liked it or rather loved it. So just do let us know in the feedback form, which I will be sharing right now on screen. How was your experience with the entire session? Please visit the link that is pinned and that is being shown right now on the slide on the screen for providing feedback. All right, so with that, we will be providing with our social handles. Make sure you follow them so that you can see for yourself who are the winners. And tomorrow we will be declaring all of the winners, first, second, third prizes. And again, the prizes are any one course of your choice for a lifetime from our event sponsor, which is SkillVertex. They have a wide range of course which will help you get industry ready, and be rest assured that their courses are really good. And I hope that all of you have given uh, the feedback, and I'm sharing the feedback link again. It is already on the screen. You can just check the chat box. I've shared the link again. And all right, so with this, we end our session over here. And yeah, that's all for now. Thank, thanks all of you for joining us for today's session.